Okay, tinnitus treatment costs, what you need to know. You see, in this video, what we'll look at, we'll discover the ins and outs of tinnitus treatment costs in an informative way. You'll learn about the different options available and what you can expect to pay for each one. Some are pretty costly, I can tell you. So we'll delve into the various treatments for tinnitus and the, associated costs, from medications to therapy, to cover all the options and give you a clear understanding of what to expect. You learn about the pros and cons of each treatment, as well as the costs involved. We'll go from the most expensive tinnitus treatment costs to the cheapest, or even free tinnitus. I got so excited. Free tinnitus treatment costs. I will also go over my own personal recommendations to save you from costly, unnecessary expenses in your tinnitus treatment, because you can do it for free, but that's coming. Okay, let's start then, going through the options, starting with the highest ones first, then going down to the free, no money, absolutely free. Okay, first one, for the friendly audiologists out there who you'll be visiting for this, tinnitus retraining therapy. Understanding the cost and benefits of this. Now, we know tinnitus is a condition that characterized by a ringing, buzzing in the ears, or whatever noise that you may hear, because we all hear different noises as well. Now, millions of people have this worldwide, and everybody is different in how they have it, and also how it can be treated. It will be more effective in some individuals than others. So, while there is no cure for tinnitus, tinnitus return therapy, or TRT as it's shortened to, has been shown to be an effective treatment option for many. So in this video we'll discuss the cost of TRT and how it can benefit you and provide those who suffer from tinnitus some relief for it. Okay, now the costs can vary depending on the clinic and the individual's sort of treatment plan that's agreed. So you see, on average, TRT can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000. It can be a lot more actually, but it depends on how long the course is, how long you keep going for the treatment. And I must say, on some of these private audiologists, they will keep you going for as long as is needed. Which I'm not saying it won't benefit you, but it will also benefit them greatly. The cost typically includes initial consultation, counselling sessions, and the use of sound therapy devices. Now, it's important to note that TRT is typically not covered by insurance, and it may require significant financial investment, as we've seen from the costs. However, it's worth considering the long-term benefits, because there is no doubt TRT can actually work for some of you with tinnitus. It's a two-part treatment process, I say, including your counselling, but also the sound therapy. Now, during the counselling side, what you're actually looking at is to understand what your tinnitus is about and learn coping strategies. Sound therapy, and I say, can be delivered through specialist devices that you have to retrain the brain to better tolerate the tinnitus. So, you see, one of the main benefits of TRT is that it can really help you manage your symptoms. It won't take them away, but help you to manage them. And many that undergo the TRT, you do say that they have a significant reduction in the tinnitus symptoms. So it can reduce your loudness and annoyance. And obviously it has a big impact on your quality of life, because it really can get people down. With tinnitus, the stress and the anxiety, it can reduce all this with TRT. So yes, it can really be effective for certain individuals. It also helps you to hear the quiet sounds, because when you have tinnitus, sometimes it can be difficult to hear quiet sounds that are about, which can make you feel isolated and decrease your ability to actually communicate with others. TRT can help to improve this ability, so it can improve your social and professional interactions. The people you work with, the people that you found family and your friends, and you can be involved in part of it. It's difficult when you're not hearing everything because of your tinnitus. So in addition, TRT can also be, because of all this, it can reduce the risk of depression and anxiety. And this is, you know, significant impact on your mental well-being. So it's really important for this, you know, because you see, the more depressed and anxious you become, the worse your tinnitus will become. So it's a, you know, double-edged sword, really. So if it can help to reduce these symptoms, it can make a big impact on your overall mental health. So overall, to be fair, tinnitus retraining therapy, it's highly effective and it can work. While the cost of TRT is significant, it's important to consider that the long-term benefits, it can really be good, you know, and it depends. You see, certain individuals, it can work better than for others. So if you can regain your quiet sounds, reduce the risk of your depression and anxiety, and learn to cope with your tinnitus, then yes, it's a good option. But as I say, the cost is something that is probably a big part of it in your decision. Okay, moving on. Cognitive behavioural therapy for tinnitus. Now, we know that, as I say, tinnitus is a common problem. We all have it, and we all have the different sounds. I used to hear chattering women through the night, and it used to drive me crazy. Okay, but some of you get buzzing or low sounds and whistling sounds, and it can be mild. Some people have it very mild or severe. And it can also be a temporary thing or chronic. So on the temporary side of things, you know, if it's not gone away after 3 weeks, because a lot of people say, oh, I think I've got tinnitus, I've got this, and if you've got a bad cold, you can get the symptoms of tinnitus, but it will go when your cold goes and when you're bunged up. But don't leave it longer than 3 weeks. If it's still there, go and see your doctor. As I've said, dietitian. It's not a dietitian, but diet does help. Okay, so cognitive behavioural therapy, it's CBTs. It's a form of psychotherapy that can be used to treat tinnitus, and the whole aim of it is, and you'll see some similarities here with TRT, just a different way of saying it. It's to help you sort of change the way you think and behave and respond to your tinnitus. You know, so it can help to reduce that stress level again and improve the quality of life. How it works, it's not just a physical problem is tinnitus, but it's a psychological one. And CBT does certainly work on the psychological side. And the whole aim is to actually change negative thoughts and behaviours related to tinnitus, so it can then reduce your anxiety and your depression. And it involves really counselling and education. Therapists will work with yourself and identify and challenge your negative thoughts and beliefs about tinnitus. They'll also teach you individual coping strategies to manage tinnitus and improve, obviously, the quality of your life if you can do this. Now, what does CBT for tinnitus involve? As we've said, various sessions with therapists, trained therapists. Now, it can be conducted on an individual basis, which obviously is great, or in a group setting, which is lower cost and not so great, I would say. But during the sessions, the therapist will work with yourself, and they go through and challenge the negative thoughts and beliefs that you have. And they'll do this over as many lessons as they can get away with you paying for. So, but not to be too negative about it, they can help you to set realistic goals of managing your tinnitus, because this is the other thing with tinnitus. You know, it will not disappear completely, but it can be just a part of life that you learn to cope and live with, and it doesn't become the only focus in your life. So they can help you to provide education about your tinnitus and the management side of it. So, you know, it has, you know, in all fairness, CBT has been around a long time, much longer than TRT. but it can help, and it has been proven to be effective for those who suffer with tinnitus in reducing the effects of it. So it can have a big impact with the anxiety and depression and improved sleep. Because this is the other thing with tinnitus, you know, the time when it becomes really prominent, and it certainly did with me, and a lot of people who I've speak with who've had tinnitus, who I've treated, have said that the night time when you're trying to sleep is horrendous. That's when it seems to be at its loudest. And you know, CBT can certainly help with this to improve your sleep. If you can improve your sleep, because we all need good sleep for lots of things in our body to work properly, our body and mind. So yes, CBT, it can be a really effective therapy. So they can do all these things, but what about the cost? Well, this is the downside to it, you know, because realistically, you know, the prices range from, when we researched and looked at various places, we rung a few up and things like this, and you know, 2,000 was really the minimum for a series of consultations, and we know up to $12,500. So it's not insignificant. It's a lot of money, especially if it doesn't work for you, because all these treatments, they're all, as I said, we're all individuals, and different things will work for different people. So let's move on. On to my favourite, or my preferred method, if you like, simply because it's tinnitus and hypnosis. Say I've been practicing for over 20 years, and it can make a massive impact on people. But I don't want to be too biased about it. It's just another form of treatment and something that can help with your ringing, your buzzing in your ears, and you know, it's just another form of treatment. You know, it can be really effective, and I have to be really upfront with you here. I couldn't help myself with it. I helped lots of other people, but I think this was, and looking back now, I think the reason behind it was my own mental blocks on that, and this is why the mind is such a powerful thing. So we know what tinnitus is. It is a medical condition, but it's really a perception of sound in the ears or head. There is actually no source of the sound. The sound can be ringing, buzzing, or clicking noises, or in my case, chattering women, varying intensity and frequency, and it can be caused by a variety of factors, including age-related hearing loss, which is probably one of the biggest reasons for tinnitus, exposure to loud noise, which was certainly, I felt, part of mine going back to my former DJ days, playing loud music, certain medications, and you have to really be careful with your medications and discuss this with your own healthcare professional, and head or neck injuries can be a big part of it. So how does hypnosis help tinnitus? Well, it's really looking at first what hypnosis actually is. It's a state of deep relaxation. It's not like the ones you see on the stage where they're getting you to eat lemons and onions and behave like a dog. No, it's a really serious subject, but it's one that can really help lots of people. So hypnosis is a state of deep relaxation in which a person is highly suggestible to positive changes in behaviour and thought. In the case of tinnitus, hypnosis can help to reduce the perception of the ringing or the buzzing sound by changing the way the brain processes the sound. This can be achieved through a variety of techniques such as guided imagery, visualization, and positive affirmations. It's one of the main benefits of hypnosis for tinnitus is its ability to reduce stress and anxiety, and it really is important, this with the stress and anxiety, you know, it plays a major role in the level of tinnitus that we suffer. So it can be distressing, as we said, and the stress and anxiety just exacerbates it. So by relaxing the mind and body through hypnosis, it's possible to reduce the emotional impact of a tinnitus, and it can have a massive impact on improve the quality of your life. Now, the cost of tinnitus treatment or the cost of tinnitus treatment with hypnosis. You see, this therapy will cost between $75 and $250 for a session, for a 30 to 60 minute session. Now, there's loads out there, and now, although I would say, yes, go to one of the recognised accredited places for a hypnotherapist. I know lots of hypnotherapists who've been practicing for so many years and they've never done any of these courses that you can pay. Yeah, you can get a hypnotherapy certificate, I think, for about $49. So do you want to go to somebody who's done one of these courses over a 4-week period and can now call themselves a hypnotherapist? No, that's my little gripe on that. But no, experience is really important. And the most important thing is how you actually relate with the hypnotherapist. Is go and have a word with them first, because to be quite fair, I know some of the hypnotherapists are fantastic people, but I also know some real idiots that I would never even want to have any conversation with them, so let alone treatment. So you really need to, have a word with them first before you shell out your money, because it can end up being quite costly. Now, for 6 sessions, you see, you're looking at about $450 as a minimum, and 6 would be a minimum number of sessions, I would suggest, up to about $1,500. Now, these are minimums, but I think you need to keep watching, because I'm going to show you something where you can actually get this for free or less than $50 anyway, and it works. So keep watching, I'll let you know on this. Okay, do myself, unless you live near me and you want some private treatment, then that's different. No, it isn't. I'm only joking on that. I think we all need help with our tinnitus because it's a horrendous thing. So let's move on. We've already discussed and mentioned it in some of the other treatments, that sound therapy. You see, I did a full video course on sound therapy. I've put the link to it in the description. Now, the cost for this is relatively low and can be very effective, or even free again. Free versions in the description. You don't need to pay for sound therapy. I can assure you that. You can also be charged ridiculous costs for sound therapy by some audiologists. I do have a go at audiologists, I do, but don't get me wrong, there's some very good ones out there. There's some that just, it's only about money, it drives me mad, and a lot of them are on YouTube. Right, okay. Audiologists, well, treatment with sound therapy from them, some of them, it can be in excess of $5,000, and I just don't know where this cost comes from. But don't get me wrong, that's the very top end, and in my opinion it's an unnecessary cost when you get suitable sound therapy for really low cost or even free. I'm not talking about the videos on YouTube, which if they don't have adverts, that's fine, but some of them have adverts running through them, which is just destroys the whole point of them, I think. It can be a great option, sound therapy machines as well, or the hearing aid types that you wear, or sounds to play. They all work on the principle of distraction and can be really good at night time to help getting to sleep. And I say it's I would say I say in the description I've put some links for some free sounds, that because different sounds will work for different people. And you only need it for an hour to play on the side as you're going to sleep. You can have it on your phone as well and play it through the day if you need to. But let's move on to another area that I'm a big believer in, is helping the body with nature to help itself. Natural herbal remedies for tinnitus. So the tinnitus, the ringing, the buzzing in the ears can be, it's so frustrating, debilitating for many, it really is. So we know there's not a cure, but there are natural remedies that can help manage the symptoms and improve our overall ear health. Now, it's something that I actually use myself and still do. I take a lot of natural herbal remedies for various things, and one of them is 𝐻𝐿 biloba, which is a herb that's been used for centuries. It's a traditional Chinese medicine said to improve blood flow to the ears, which can reduce the severity of tinnitus symptoms. Now, it's important to note that while 𝐻𝐿 biloba may help with tinnitus. It's not a cure and should not be used as a replacement for traditional medical treatment. That's a disclaimer and a warning that I have to mention, because the pharmaceutical companies obviously are not in favour of natural remedies in the main. Why would there be? It would take away their money if people get cured without using traditional drugs. Now, I'm not saying you should stop traditional drugs, by the way, or medication. Another natural remedy that can help manage tinnitus is melatonin. You see, melatonin is a hormone that helps regulate sleep, and lack of it can really contribute to tinnitus symptoms. You need to be able to sleep well on the night time, or whenever you do sleep. If you sleep daytimes because you're on night shifts, which are bad for you, long-term night shifts, but we all have to earn some money. Okay, taking melatonin supplements before bed can improve sleep and reduce the severity of tinnitus. There's also many supplements which combine herbal medicines together. Now, some are really good, and I do take one, and I will put it down. I'm not bothered whether somebody thinks, oh, you're just trying to sell. I'm not bothered whether you do this or not, but it's looking at all the options out there. Some of them are just hyped up and so expensive, and the cost is just ridiculous. Now, I will say though, any herbal treatment, if you're buying any supplements of any type, don't go for the cheapest from the store or supermarket, because there's a reason that they're really cheap. You know, all supplements are not made equal. You will not, you know, I'm not saying that they're all rubbish, but the vast majority, if you're paying very little for them, they will not work. Now, you see a lot labelled as 100% this and totally natural. It's all BS. It really is. A lot of this is all hyped nonsense. Now, price is not always the way to judge. If it's less than a few dollars, I guarantee it's made from the finest crap they can find. In addition to these natural remedies, it's also important to maintain good ear health. But before I move on to this, I just want to go back to really, and if something's really expensive, it doesn't mean to say it's the best. But it is a bit of trial and error with these supplements. Some of them can work, and I say I do take one. And, you know, whether you want to try this route, it's entirely up to you. But they can work, and sometimes I believe in conjunction with other things. Now, I was on about ear health in general. You see, I think you need to also take control of what you do and how you affect your ears. You know, avoiding loud noises, avoiding exposure to toxins, and staying hydrated. And this is coming back to I briefly mentioned it, healthy diet that is rich in vitamins and minerals, can help improve ear health and reduce tinnitus symptoms. If you eat, you know, junk food crap, then it will have an effect on many things in your body. Apart from putting weight on, looking fat, it can actually really stop the blood flow around your body. There's so many things. It really is. You need to look at what you eat. Okay, now enough of that. Okay, I'm going off in a rant and going off what I should be doing. I do myself little titles and I try to stick to them, but I don't know how anybody can do a 3-minute video. But anyway, now the free methods, and this is important. You see, the free methods, there's many exercise and ways to help tinnitus treatments using free methods. Now, it has to be said that all tinnitus treatments are dependent on the individual's reaction, and success is very much an individual thing. I have some videos on the channel here with some exercises that can help. I've put the links to the videos in the description. Now, some people say they work fantastic, it's made a massive difference. Others say, we're a load of nonsense, this doesn't work at all. But you know, it could be your approach on these things. Who knows, should I say. Now, they all seem to be based on the same thing, which is the stimulation of the auditory system, and can be really effective, but not for everyone. So, to conclude on tinnitus treatment costs, so which would you go for? Well, in my opinion, as a former sufferer, or I should say a well-managed tinnitus sufferer, because you can really suffer if it isn't managed well. before I go through the way to go, I have to say this. The biggest cause of tinnitus is age-related hearing loss and hearing loss in general. So you have to have your hearing tested first. It may well be that hearing aids will be the solution for you. Nothing else needed, because when your hearing goes, it's usually in some frequency ranges that you lose. So now, with that said, after the free methods, lots in the description for you to have a look at, then you should be looking at the next low cost, such as sound therapy, or some of the herbal supplements can help. Again, I've put together a help sheet in the description. I don't know if it's a sheet or it's a link to go to somewhere, and they're all listed down anyway. Then as a hypnotherapist, I would say this method, but try a free one or some of the low cost ways on the help link for hypnotherapy. Yes, it would be great for a hypnotherapist for you to book a course with them, but I have to say it's not always needed. The next would be CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, and TRT last. Okay, I'm not saying they won't work, but from a cost perspective, they've got to be the last things you try. They're just too much. The cost is too much. However, if money isn't an issue, then yes, pay the money. But I still believe some of the low-cost ways can be effective in your tinnitus treatment. Whichever way you go, I would like to wish you luck, though. And I hope it does help, because it can be managed and it can be livable, and you can just get on, enjoy life. So I hope you find the solution that you're looking for and get to grips with this tinnitus. Get it away. Okay, I'd like to wish you all good health. Take care. Keep watching and looking for more videos from me. See you soon. Bye bye now.